You're too bloomy, we don't need you. My clueless and ignorant female boss mocked me. I sighed at her sneering face. Fine, I quit. With those words, I left the company just as she suggested. A few months later, I ran into that awful woman again. Did anyone bother to pick you up? She still wore that mocking expression. Yes. By the way, it's one of your biggest clients. She stared at me blankly, not comprehending my words. But when she understood, her face turned pale. My name is John Davis. I'm a salesman in my 40s, currently working in the sales department of a food and beverage company. Although technically in sales, my role is rather unique. I'm a salesman, but I don't go out on sales calls, I just sit at my desk and work on my PC. Good morning, John. Good morning. Oh, John. We were talking about going out for drinks after work. Do you want to join us? Thanks for the invite. But sorry, I have plans. All right then. I rarely interacted with other employees, spending most of my working hours in front of the computer. Well, everyone else is young. So, it's hard to find common ground. John always dresses so neatly. Yeah, his shirts are perfectly ironed and fitted. And he smells nice too. It's not cologne, right? Maybe fabric softener? I wonder what fabric softener he uses. I've occasionally overheard them talking about me, but I never bothered to ask and just focused on my work. Oh, it's time to finish. Have a good evening. Yes, you too. John always leaves right on time. It's like a clock for us. He's like a human alarm. And so, I always left work exactly on time. After work, I sometimes went out or just went straight home. Would you consider joining us? Yes, thank you. I'd be happy to. I joined this company about 3 years ago. I used to work at another beverage company but was recruited here. I had moved around various beverage companies without settling in one place. John, how's everything going since you joined? Fine, no major issues, everything's going smoothly. That's good to hear. We have high expectations for your work. Thank you. It was someone from the higher management who recruited me. They heard about my reputation and reached out. Apparently, this company often recruits from outside as well. John, do you have a moment? Yes, I do. I'd like to discuss some sales strategies with you. If it's something I can help with, I'll send over the necessary information. Thank you. Oh, and I'd like to ask you about Company D later, so I'll email you. Got it. You're still the same, John. Yeah, pretty much. As my younger colleagues spoke to me, James called out. James is the only colleague in sales who is around my age. He's the one who recruited me into this company. Thanks for helping with that matter. I'll need your assistance again. Sure. And by the way, they want to go out for drinks next time. I see. Our relationship goes back to before I joined this company, and we communicate effectively with minimal conversation. And as the only other experienced colleague, he looks out for me. James is considerate and, being single, quite popular. All right, let's get to work. The sales department was peaceful and free of any major issues. Hello, everyone. I'm Karen, the new department manager starting today. Then she arrived. Karen was transferred from an affiliated company. I heard she came from a bigger, more powerful company than ours. Wow, must be a power thing. Who knows? Hopefully, we can work well together. I sighed internally as I watched Karen. She was a flashy woman, wearing a bright red outfit that didn't seem appropriate for work. Her makeup was heavy, and the strong scent of her perfume reached my desk. You all better listen to me. I outrank all of you. Her attitude was confident and overbearing. Honestly, I had my concerns about having her as a boss. Hey, who made this document? I did. Do it over. And I'll take over the clients you're handling. Changing things now? And what's wrong with this document? Figure it out yourself. Look, here. This way it's easier to read. But our company's standard is, just do as I say. She used the fact that she came from a big company to boss everyone around in the sales department. This is really the worst. She's so chummy with the young men in James, but she's harsh with us women. We're doing our best not to get on her bad side. It's tough, but let's support each other and get through this. Everyone reluctantly complied to avoid unnecessary trouble. Ooh. What's up? Oh, it's about Karen. On a rare free day, James invited me out for drinks. He sighed deeply, genuinely troubled. Karen's been all over me lately. Every day, she's trying to ask me out. I see. He often complains about being constantly asked out. For drinks, for dinner, things like that. James has a youthful appearance, so Karen probably doesn't mind the age gap. James himself isn't comfortable with romantic relationships and has his own reasons for being single. So, these invitations are a significant burden for him. If I talk to other women, they get scolded. That's a hassle. Absolutely. He's clearly struggling with Karen's presence. James sighed wearily. The bosses are useless. Yeah, when I talk to them, they just brushed it off. It's really problematic. The whole atmosphere in the sales department has changed. Who knows what will happen next? As expected, the previously peaceful atmosphere in the sales department turned tense. Everyone tried to avoid getting noticed by Karen. Hey, you. Yes? Stop sticking to your PC and get some work done. I am working. Go out and make some sales calls. Since I got here, I haven't seen you leave the office once. And you dress so flashy. In the midst of all this, Karen started targeting me. She glanced at my PC but seemed not to understand its content. You're not doing any work. I'm doing my job. She seemed to think I was slacking off. And you hardly talk to anyone here. You just say hello and that's it. Everyone is busy. To avoid disturbing the busy sales staff, I communicate everything through emails and chats. I hear and talk about rumors and complaints through those channels. You're so gloomy. Ooh. You're in sales but stick to your PC, never go out, don't work, and don't communicate with others. Plus, you dress inappropriately and leave right at quitting time. Do you even take your job seriously? Karen clearly disliked me and often came over to make snide comments. John, are you okay? She was saying a lot to you today. I'm fine. She's focused on you now, so it's better for us. Let us know if you need anything. We'll help you out. Thank you. My colleagues noticed and were concerned about me. They often intervened with excuses like, there's a customer here or we need help with this to pull me away from Karen. Aside from Karen, we had a good team dynamic. What's with Karen? And she criticized you for leaving on time, but she leaves early too. Exactly. I saw her at a bar the other day. Me too. She was drinking a lot. Isn't that a problem, drinking that much? And what about the drinking expenses? Who knows? Maybe it's on the company's tab as part of entertaining clients. Wow, really? Karen's reputation was increasingly dominated by negative gossip rather than her work skills. Are you okay? I'm fine. As long as she's bothering me, you can get your work done. I'm really sorry. I'll help you if anything comes up, also. What is it? You've worked at several companies, right? If you ever decide to move, could you let me know? I don't mind. When I agreed, James said, thank you, and left. Unlike me, James has stayed at the same place for a long time, but this situation seemed to make him reconsider. A few months after Karen's arrival, trouble arose. The sales department's expenses increased, leading to a mandate for cost cutting. Why have expenses gone up? Now we have to cut costs. This is ridiculous. Karen complained, but the increased expenses were due to her. Her excessive use of entertainment expenses caused the rise. Everyone knew she was spending too much on drinking. I don't want to cut entertainment expenses. If we cut them, I can't drink enough. John, this is your fault. What? You're not doing any work. Just your presence is a waste of expenses and salary. You're a financial burden. This was a baseless accusation. I'm just doing the work I've been assigned. She doesn't understand, but I believe my job is quite important. We need to cut costs, so I'm cutting you. Ooh. You're too gloomy. Pack up and get out of here. Is that an order? Yes. You're fired. She said this with a sneer, and I sighed. Fine, I quit. Don't ever come back to this office. Now we can save money by getting rid of a useless employee. Without resistance, I packed my things and left the company. What? You're leaving? Why so suddenly? Karen fired me. She did? Well, if she said so, I guess there's nothing we can do. Even the bosses couldn't control her rampage. Considering her company is bigger than ours, it's understandable. Like James, there's not much they can do. That same day, I resigned and left the company. John, please come back. We need you here. We'll talk to Karen. When I checked my phone at home, I had a mountain of emails. All were from the sales department, essentially begging me to return. But being fired, there's nothing I could do. I don't know how to strategize without you, John. A female colleague even called, crying. I appreciate your words, but I've already been dismissed. Oh no. Despite the strong trust from my colleagues, I had already set my sights on another company. Therefore, I didn't retract my resignation and said goodbye to the staff. Well then. John, do you have a moment? Yes. Actually, I was planning to contact you too. After I reached out to a company, I quickly heard from James. James had been out on sales calls and didn't know about the recent incident. I heard from everyone. Are you really leaving? Yeah. Do you have another job lined up? Yes, fortunately. John, we've known each other since our previous job. I have a favor to ask. I kind of figured. I've already mentioned you to them. Thank you. Really? I appreciate it. Sure, no problem. A few months after leaving that company. It's almost time. I was at a fancy restaurant. I was here for a business meeting. But the client this time was a complicated one for me. As I waited at the entrance, I saw her. Oh, it's you. Long time no see. Karen appeared. Recognizing me, she smirked. Well, if it isn't the gloomy desk jockey. She spoke to me with a sneer. What are you doing here? You can't possibly be dining here, can you? There's no way you could afford a place like this. She mocked me further. By the way, who would even hire a useless guy like you who only works on a PC all day? She continued to belittle me. Apparently, she still didn't know. Well, whatever job you have now can't be that great. I tried to explain, but Karen wasn't listening. She kept laughing mockingly, talking over me. What could a useless guy like you be doing at a place like this? Oh, I get it, you're probably a cleaner here. How pathetic. And you're still dressing up, thinking it looks good on you. I'm not here for cleaning. I'm here for work. Work is for people like me who actually get things done. What you do isn't work. I'm here for a business meeting as the sales manager. Unlike you, who can only deal with a computer. She kept prattling on. Sorry to keep you waiting. I was growing weary of her chatter when someone called out. Thank you for waiting, Michael. It was Michael, the manager of Greenfield Dining, a major restaurant chain. As I greeted him, Karen quickly did too. Michael. Thank you so much for your time today. Upon realizing it was Michael, Karen immediately started trying to ingratiate herself. It was clear how important this meeting was for her company. Hello, Karen. Looking forward to working with you. But really, if you two were already here, you could have gone inside. Michael said with a friendly smile, addressing me. What? John is involved? Karen looked up, confused. No way, this gloomy guy? She mumbled in shock, clearly bewildered. Let's go in. Yes. Yes. Following Michael's lead, we entered the restaurant. Once inside, we were shown to a private room. So, what's going on? You'll understand soon enough. Karen whispered to me, trying to get answers, but I just smiled and deflected her questions. When the server left us alone, I prepared my business card. It was time to answer her earlier question. Here's my business card. What? No way. Karen's eyes widened as she read it. It said, John Davis, head of research at Greenfield Dining. Earlier, you asked who would hire someone like me. Well, your major client did. As I said this with a smile, Karen's face turned pale. After leaving the previous company, I contacted Michael. He had always supported me and had been inviting me to join his company for a while. We're glad to have you, John. Thank you. I'm looking forward to working with you. The pleasure is ours. Your reputation for excellence precedes you. We're counting on you. I'll give it my all. Joining Greenfield Dining, I continued to handle my responsibilities just as I did at my previous company. My efforts were recognized, leading to a smooth promotion to my current position as department head. No, this can't be. Is something wrong? No. Karen, still pale, shook her head in response to Michael's question. She couldn't believe that the person she had deemed incompetent and fired was now a department head at a major company. This can't be true, you were just a gloomy incompetent. Karen was in shock. What should I do? What should I do? Realizing that the person she had mocked and dismissed was now a key figure in an important business deal, Karen seemed to be losing her composure. The roles had reversed from when she fired me. Now, let's see what she's capable of. So? How is this aspect of the deal? Well, Karen couldn't manage her usual confident sales pitch. She kept glancing at me, clearly rattled by our earlier interaction. In the end, she left the meeting in shambles. Did you know Karen? She seemed very concerned about you. After seeing Karen off, Michael asked about her. Actually, she fired me from my last job, calling me a gloomy incompetent. Really? I explained the whole story to Michael. How disrespectful. Karen was out of line. Michael was indignant on my behalf. As for this deal, I don't want to work with someone so rude. Let's ask them to assign a different representative. Agreed. We can continue negotiations if they change the contact person. I'll make sure to inform them. Michael and I decided together and sent that response to my former company. Given that our company holds the upper hand this time, she would likely face some consequences. John, you won't believe this. Later, a former colleague informed me about Karen. At her company, the bosses confronted her, saying, "How could you, the department head, be replaced as the representative?" Seizing the opportunity, the sales staff, who had tolerated Karen's behavior, reported her misconduct to the bosses. Included in their reports was the story of how she had fired me. As a result, they told her, "We haven't reprimanded you strongly because you were a delegate from an affiliated company. But we'll be reporting this to your parent company." Karen's face was completely pale when they said that. I see. Thanks for letting me know. No problem. You've always helped us, John. The former colleague smiled, relieved to be free from her tyranny. Sometime later, I received a call from the boss of my previous company. John, would you consider coming back to us? They made that offer to me. Apparently, my work in the sales department had been reevaluated. The department's performance had declined significantly since I left, prompting an investigation. Indeed, I used to research long-term business strategies and recent trends for our clients, and explain them clearly to the sales representatives. I also advised on creating sales strategies, which is why I spent so much time at my computer. I also monitored our clients' financial statuses regularly. I managed accounts receivable to prevent bad debts. After work, I networked with employees from current and potential clients, gathering valuable information. I identified hidden needs of other companies and provided feedback to our sales representatives. That's why I always wore nice clothes, preparing for these meetings, and it made it easy for me to transition to a top company. You were really doing significant work, no wonder you're sought after by so many companies. Not at all. I've just had the chance to see various companies. How about this? We're willing to offer you more than double your previous salary. The offer was quite substantial. However, I'm sorry. I can't trust a company that let Karen's behavior go unchecked for so long, and I like my current job. I declined their offer and ignored their pleas to reconsider. Hey, I heard Karen came for a business meeting? For us, our department head is Michael now. Oh, sorry about that. James was the first to talk to me about it. When I was fired, James decided to join Greenfield Dining. He joined the company as a salesperson shortly after I did. Although he had been at the previous company for a long time, he had grown disillusioned with how they handled Karen. He had been thinking about following my example and moving to another company. When I got fired, it gave him the push he needed to join Greenfield Dining. Michael, who had heard about James from me, was eager to hire him, but James, being thorough, went through the formal interview process. He had always been an excellent salesperson and was doing well at Greenfield Dining too. John. Please listen. Calm down, Lily. One day, I got a call from a female employee from my old department. She was the one who cried when she heard I was leaving. She still looked up to me. I've been assigned to take over your research duties. Can you teach me? Well, it feels odd to teach the duties of a company I've left. Please. I want to improve our sales department. Although I hesitated, Lily's earnestness convinced me to help her out. So, this place is. I see, so. Given the age difference, it felt like a teacher-student relationship as I taught her the ropes. It really feels like a teacher-student scenario, doesn't it? Yes, I suppose this is what it would be like to have a mentee. Please take care of me, Mr. Davis. Teach me too, Mr. Davis. Come on, Aiden, knock it off. Occasionally, when I met up with Lily to teach her, a former colleague, Aiden, would also join us. He wanted to learn my sales techniques as well. With these two eager learners, I felt somewhat reassured about the future of my old company. Seeing their proactive approach to learning, reminiscent of my younger days, gave me some peace of mind. I believe these two could form a great team, much like James and I once did. As for Karen, she was demoted to a regular employee at her parent company. However, her flashy lifestyle and love for drinking couldn't be sustained on a regular salary, so she secretly took a night job. Unfortunately for her, moonlighting was against company policy. When her side job was discovered, she was fired. Now, she drifts from one night job to another, struggling to earn much due to her high-handed personality, which doesn't attract many customers. It's a case of poetic justice, perhaps. I saw her in a sorry state downtown the other day. I see. Well, she made life difficult for many, so now it's her turn to struggle. Exactly. Who would have thought that firing me would lead to her own downfall and a life of poverty? In fact, Karen once contacted me. She reached out after seeing the business card I had given her. Could you help me at Greenfield Dining? Impossible. Please, at least let me talk to James. She kept pestering me, so I passed her off to James. Sorry, but I have no interest in someone like you. I honestly dislike you. Do not contact me or my mentor again. I don't want to hear your voice ever again, he firmly told her. She tried to contact James several more times, but he reached out to a lawyer. A restraining order was issued, preventing her from approaching him again. Being popular has its downsides. It's not like I try to be. James and I first met at one of my previous companies. Back then, he was engaged, but his fiancée died in a car accident, and he has remained single since. Understanding my work, James started relying on me. Now, he's a highly skilled veteran salesman. As for me, I've been able to thrive at Greenfield Dining. The research work I did at my previous job, I now perform with a bigger budget here. As a result, Greenfield Dining's bad debt rate has dropped significantly, and we have a better understanding of our clients' needs, leading to higher contract rates. Recruiting you was the right decision. Thanks to you, our bad debt rate is much lower than last year. I'm glad I could help. Everyone praises you. They say it's much easier to secure contracts because of your detailed needs assessments. I'm just doing what I can. No, really. We're fortunate to have you. At my old company, Lily, who took over my work, is doing a great job, as Aiden informed me. Her research skills are second only to yours, John. That's great to hear. She was quick to pick things up. I can't let her outshine me. Aiden, too, was motivated and actively securing contracts, seeing Lily as a good rival. They seem to be a positive influence on each other. Thanks to her research efforts, the sales department was beginning to recover. Lily has become quite the protege of yours, John. Her methods are just like yours. And you've been teaching Aiden, haven't you? Yeah, I have. While I was teaching Lily, James would often give Aiden various pieces of advice whenever their schedules aligned. Is it time for a generational shift? Maybe, but since we're at different companies, we'll still be rivals for a while. True, I can't afford to lose. Flashy work is easy to recognize from the outside, but behind-the-scenes work, often unnoticed, is just as crucial for organizational growth. There are those who secure many contracts in sales, supported by office staff handling the logistics. Cleaners keep the spaces where many people work tidy. An organization can only grow with employees fulfilling various roles. We might not always know who is doing what or how they are contributing. However, it's important not to make assumptions and to genuinely understand and acknowledge their efforts. Especially those in leadership positions should never forget this.